Well, hello there. I'm back again with another video, and I just wanted to come on here today and express some of my opinions and thoughts on the recent government shutdown 2019. Basically, I think it's all just a game. I blame both the president and Congress for the shutdown. I feel as though almost all politicians are not really working in the interests of the American people. They're more so working on behalf of the best interests of corporations and the wealthy people in the United States and probably around the world. I think those are the people who have the most power in the United States, the corporations and the wealthy elite. And yes, corporations are considered people, believe it or not. But that's neither here nor there. I feel like this shutdown is just a test run for some things that are to come in the near future. The politicians are using the government workers and the people who rely on public assistance, welfare, housing, food stamps, and social programs of that nature as pawns in their game. They really don't care about the welfare and the well-being of the people. I think this whole debate and argument over the border wall is just a distraction for what they're really trying to do behind the scenes. I think there's a lot going on, changes in legislation, and a lot of behind the scenes dealings with politicians around the world that the common people and the citizens aren't really keeping abreast of. It's like they're basically living their lives as zombies until the shit hit the fan. And that's when they wake up out of their stupor and realize that something is not right. And so I believe that with their greater agenda has something to do with what's going on in Venezuela. In my opinion, I think that America is trying to stir up some crap over there. I saw a video on YouTube a few days ago of the Vice President Mike Pence, in so many words, encouraging the people of Venezuela to rise up against the man who is currently the elected president of Venezuela, Maduro. And also, I read somewhere that a bank in England is withholding Venezuela's gold because what happened is that Venezuela sent the bulk of their gold over to a bank in the UK. And now, since the civil unrest has been going on over there in Venezuela, the bank located in the UK is now refusing to release the gold that they have in store on behalf of Venezuela. And I think that's basically a power play to get Maduro to step down and allow Maduro's opponent to take power in Venezuela. I also remember reading that there was some type of attempted coup that failed, and it resulted in like 24 people dying. So it's just a mess over there. But in my opinion, I think the United States should stay out of it. And they've also been warned by Russia, China, and other nations that are allies to Venezuela to stay out of the conflict. But I don't think that it's going to work out that way because the United States are probably trying to get themselves in the mix because they are interested in the oil over there, because Venezuela is a very oil-rich country. and one of the biggest suppliers of oil to the United States. I think that's probably one of the greater agendas that's going on. I think that's one of the greater agendas that the United States has to gain more power around the world. You know, like I said before, I don't think the majority of the politicians over here don't really care too much about the interests of the people. They care more about making money, earning more money for their cronies and for the corporations. I don't even think they care really too much about the state of the economy over here. Just as an example of how out of touch I think some of these politicians are, during the government shutdown and after some of the government workers had missed so many paychecks that they had begun to fall behind on their bills, some of the government workers opted to go to food banks and food pantries in order to try to make ends meet. And so the Secretary of Commerce, Wilbur Ross, made, and I'm going to paraphrase his statement, but he made comments to the effect that he doesn't understand why the government workers are going to food pantries and food banks when all they have to do is take out a government-backed loan in order to get them through the government shutdown. And it just leads me to believe that he is out of touch with reality. A lot of his thoughts are not grounded in reality because, for one, he's a rich man and he probably has no idea what it's like to struggle and to live paycheck to paycheck. And it's pretty presumptuous for him to assume that some of the government workers even have credit to take out a loan. The majority of the working class people here in the United States are living paycheck to paycheck and heavily in debt. So why would anyone who's already in debt and probably has very little credit, why would they want to risk taking out a loan and putting themselves further into debt? That makes no sense. The more logical thing would be for them to want to just get back to work, to earn money, and to also get their paycheck so they can get caught up on their bills. But, you know, you can't tell that to a person who has no understanding for what it's like to live in poverty or to live paycheck to paycheck. They can't, it doesn't compute for them. Sometimes I watch this program on C-SPAN called Washington Journal, and there's usually some of the viewers will call into the show to give their opinions and commentary on the topics of the day. And so that one particular day, they were talking about the government shutdown, and some of the people calling in, obviously Trump supporters, seem to espouse the view that they don't feel sorry for the government workers because the people were living above their means and they weren't managing their money right. And again, I think that the people who call in and speak this way are very presumptuous and out of touch with reality. They're assuming that everyone who works for the government makes good money and has good credit, not knowing that there are a lot of people out there who are living paycheck to paycheck and are barely scraping by. Missing one or two paychecks is enough to make them homeless or bankrupt. It just also shows that there are so many people in this country and even in this world have very little compassion for others. Anyone who isn't convinced that these politicians don't care about the citizens and their constituents, you also are out of touch with reality. And I don't know what else is going to take for you all to understand and realize that you have to look out for yourself, because the government really and truly does not care about you all. That's all I have to say for this video. I'm out.